Big bro's in trouble. Big bro's in a lot of trouble. Now, we all know that they're going to find any reason to not give him a bond. And he got arrested on, what was it, April 14th, 2022. So that by law is enough to hold him for another 30 days before they come up with something else to hold the bond again. They didn't even give him a bond, period. They just denied him bond. And they can do that because it's not 90 days. But even when they do give him a bond, he's not going to be able to make that bond. He's not going to be able to make that bond. It's a bad hit for him. So I got the court proceedings. I'm going to play it. However, you got to be real careful up here with this sensitive material because they really truly don't want you recording these proceedings. Now, I didn't hear anyone say, I didn't hear this judge. Usually they'll say it at the beginning of the hearing, like the judge did the first time, and everybody respected that, not to record. This judge didn't say that. So I'm going to definitely keep up the most important part, and then I'm going to take the rest down. But I want to keep it up for a while for y'all to hear it. But I'm trying to make it so that y'all can at least hear what the court proceedings were. If I was Natureboy, I would take that money because allegedly they're staying with Cookie. So you're not paying rent probably. And if you are, you're giving Cookie chump change. You ain't paying like what you were paying in that Airbnb that you just got kicked out of. So you're giving her chump change. You already ran a story that you can't afford to give her a whole bunch of money because you're in jail and you're fighting for your freedom and your life, and you need to pay for these legal fees. So my advice to you, now that we know you're back at Cookie she can sleep now because you're not theater ringleader. But my advice would be for Cookie to stay out of it, one. But my advice would be for him to get himself a better paid lawyer. The dude that he got repping him is not a seasoned lawyer. Natureboy's already in enough trouble. Hey, O'Neal, what's up? It said the bad phone was in my pocket. What's going on with you? Hey, Coco Finest. Yes, it was denied. Yep, it was denied. So I'm going to let y'all listen to it. I apologize for this morning. I couldn't find it nowhere. It was going to surface. It didn't matter. And it didn't stop no show because I still was going to share it on my channel with my audience that support me. So, that's how we do it over here. Horrible lawyer as well. You feel what I'm saying? Evans? That lawyer is not seasoned. But, you can't blame the lawyer for everything. Natureboy didn't put his own foot in his mouth. He messed it up for himself. His lawyer told straight up lies. Yeah, he got a barber shop. Did you hear that lie? Everybody put a Y in the chat. What else does he have? A barber shop. Oh, and I think some landscaping company. Boy, you desperate now. Anytime you gonna get up there and got the lawyer lying for you, you done messed up. Ooh, child. You done messed up. Somebody get security. I think I'm gonna need some backup, honey. You done messed up, bro. All he had to do was pump his brakes. Because at the end of the day, you can't stop nobody from doing what they do behind closed doors. But he was making it public. The lawyer told so many lies he should have been charged. Right, he should have been charged with perjury too. Yeah, but he's not a seasoned lawyer because a seasoned lawyer would have knew not to get up there and lie like that. Unless you did your due diligence and you know how to cover that lie because you are his lawyer. Nah, I wouldn't cover that lie like that. Oh, we got a new member in the house. Hey, the Occultist College is now a new member. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Look at that. That put a smile on my face. Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to listen to it, and we're going to break it all the way down. You know, I'm going to let y'all listen to it because majority of it's going to be deleted off, you know, anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to just, you know, let y'all listen to it. I ain't going to do too much talking. I'll do the talking after I listen to the whole court proceeding myself. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you, sweetie. I had to join this channel too. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Says, hey, sugar love, I miss you. Hey, sweetie. She unique. How you doing? So I'm reading the comments because I don't like to feel like I'm, you know, ignoring anybody. The fact that the public defender, right? I think he's a paid defender, but I like the way you said that. The fact that the public defender, because that was lied on Neytiri, should cause him his license. But listen, I'm gonna let y'all listen to this, right? But the DA, she acted almost like she didn't want to put Neytiri in this no more, because they only got a statement from Neytiri in May. Y'all will hear what I'm talking about when you hear the recording, right? But she kind of was like, well, I'll just point out, I guess, the most important parts that the judge would want to hear, basically, what she was saying. I don't think Neytiri is trying to cooperate, even though we know they don't need her. Oh, Neil, what's up? Now, that's my bro right there. That's family right there. Y'all all know O'Neal. Everybody in this community knows who O'Neal TV is. All right, so let's start it. Let's start it up.
Before Judge Bethel. He heard all of the evidence on it. I've not heard anything this morning that would cause the court to make a different decision from the decision that was made back in May. So I am going to deny your request for any modification or reconsideration of the decision that was made.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will prepare that order. I believe that that concludes my business before this court, and may all parties on this case be excused.
Yes, everyone with the Bishop case may be excused. Thank you.
Yeah, I put what the lady said, like, cutting to the chase, him being denied bond at the beginning of the recording. But now we're going to go into the whole recording, and then you'll hear her say it again, that he got denied the bond. I put it at the end of the recording as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Ms. Pasquino?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'll proceed. So to give you some background on this case, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, which number?
I apologize, number 2.
This is the DA, the Spanish DA that's a beast. This is that same DA that's talking. I'm just telling you because you can't see any faces, so that we're all on the same page.
Number 2, okay.
Mr. Bishop. To give you some background on this case, we did have a bond hearing, and a pretty extensive bond hearing back on May 6, 2022 in front of Judge Winston Bethel. I'm going to reference that bond hearing because there was evidence presented before the court that won't be presented today, but will be summarized. Back on May 6 of 2022, the state did go into the factual allegations, as I'm about to go into right now, in addition to presenting some videos. And I will summarize those videos after I've gone over the factual allegations. So the factual allegations, as it stands, are that on March 30th, 2022, the DeKalb County law enforcement met with our alleged victim in this case, who is 27 years old, but I will not refer to her by name. But she did meet with law enforcement and informed them that an incident occurred at 2993 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 in DeKalb County. She informed law enforcement that she was part of a cult that had been referred to carbonation or melanination, and that a few days before she had left that cult. She told law enforcement that because she decided to leave, as a result, she believed the defendant proceeded to post sexually explicit videos of her on social media as revenge. What I'm talking about is that there were 3 sexually explicit videos posted to Twitter under an account named 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. That's important for the court to consider because the defendant refers to himself by a number of names, one of them being 𝗪𝗪𝗪 and one of them being Natureboy. On this Twitter account, he posted 3 videos of our victim engaging in sexual intercourse with him. The victim stated that she believed he did this or caused members of his cult to post this because she had decided to leave a few nights before. She did not, while she gave consent to have the videos recorded, she did not give consent for the videos to be posted. And because she did not give consent for those videos to be posted, and the defendant did that in purposes of harassing her and for other people to view, and because she left with the cult, he was charged with 3 felonies for those 3 videos. In reporting this to law enforcement, she informed law enforcement that a few days prior, specifically around March 24th of 2022, when she tried to leave the cult, that the defendant had a few members of his cult. To give the court some background, he essentially has 6 wives in this cult. Our victim was one of those wives. On the day that she tried to leave, he had the women essentially kind of surround her and belittle her and basically hit her and say that she was not going to leave, that she essentially was nothing without the cult and that she could not leave. That day, she goes back and forth between wanting to leave. She's texting a friend, trying to arrange an Uber, misses the Uber. There is some back and forth, and that's corroborated through text messages. But she eventually decides she wants to leave. Other members of the cult tells her, hey, come upstairs, Mr. Bishop, the defendant wants to see you before you leave. I anticipate that the evidence would show that she did go upstairs to meet with him. Despite the kind of tumultuous relationship that existed in this cult between him and her and the other members of the cult, she still had some feelings for him. So she goes up to him to say bye. While she goes up, she is in a room with him, just him and her. And it's at that time she says that he does not allow her to leave the room. He says essentially that she cannot leave. And he proceeds to rape her. She said that she told him no multiple times and that she did not want to, but that he insisted that he didn't have to rape her and that he wasn't going to do anything that she didn't want to, but that he could kill her if he wanted to. And this is things that he has kind of repeated to her over the time that she has been in this cult. And so I anticipate that the evidence will show at that time she kind of gives in. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't say, yes, I want to do anything. She had repeatedly said no, but she doesn't know what to do in that moment. The defendant proceeds to rape her on the bed in that room. I anticipate that she would testify at a trial, that she was crying, that it was physically apparent that she was not engaged in these sexual acts, and that defendant continued to proceed with the acts until he was finished. That time, she essentially waits till everyone is asleep. I believe there is only one other member in the house that is awake at the time she decides to leave, and she leaves in the early morning hours of the night. That is the basis of the rape and the false imprisonment warrants that the defendant has against him. She leaves. She goes and stays with some friends. And then a few days later, when she finds out about the videos being posted on social media and sees them, she contacts law enforcement and reports all of this information. I gave you that background because at the previous bond hearing in front of Judge Bethel, we did play some videos, not the sexually explicit videos, because that would not be appropriate here for court, but we did play other videos of the defendant where he instructs women to hit other women in his cult. And I played that before the court because it was important for the court to consider the context of the cult and kind of the environment that our victim was in and why she would feel that she didn't really have any other choice but to let things happen, or she couldn't leave on that particular night. These videos repeatedly show the defendant speaking profane language at the women, but also instructing women to hit and strike other women and berating them and degrading them. And so this was an example to the court to show how he was a risk to the community, but also a risk to our victim. And so I wanted to summarize that for the court, that Mr. Bishop is part of a cult that films everything. They put everything on the internet. I would not be surprised if this also ends up on the internet and there are commentary about it, but they film everything. They put it all on the internet for the world to see. And Mr. Bishop essentially thrives off of degrading others, including women, and instructing others to commit acts of violence against each other. And so that's important for the court to consider. When we look at the Ayala factors, what was discussed at the previous hearing and what the state will stand by here today is that in looking at every single factor, he is a risk and he should not be given bond again. Again, the previous court, Judge Bethel, denied bond and found that he was a significant risk on each of those factors. We are now here and the state is unaware that anything has changed. We would ask that the bond still be denied for the following reasons. One, he does have some criminal history, which I will go over. What was the date of that previous hearing? May 6, 2022. Okay, thank you. He does have some criminal history. So he had a driving while license suspended out of Monroe County in 2006 that was ultimately dismissed. But the reason I bring it up is because he had a failure to appear, which is important for the court to hear. He had a failure to appear from 2006. In 2012, he ended up being convicted of another driving while license suspended in Gwinnett. In 2013, he was originally charged with the aggravated battery that was reduced to a battery out of Rockdale. And so while it was reduced to a misdemeanor, I wanted the court to know that it was still a violent offense. 2016, he did have a battery charge and interference with custody that was dismissed. 2020, he had a violation of rules and orders in which he served 90 days out of Hawaii. And that's important for the court to hear, and I'll argue why in a moment. And then he also, as far as I'm concerned, had a pending warrant for a domestic violence charge, temporary protective order out of Ohio. Back when we had the bond hearing in May, I believe there was a scheduled hearing coming up later that month. The state's not aware of what happened with that hearing. We know that the defendant has been in custody since, so I doubt that anything went forward with that hearing in Ohio. But from what we have learned, it involves his ex-wife and that there was a pending domestic violence warrant and temporary protective order against him. And so that's his history. And looking at his history and some other things, Your Honor, the reason why I also mentioned the Hawaii offense is because, as I stated, they film everything and they put it online. What we were able to find out through our investigation is that the defendant has not just stayed here in the state of Georgia. He's been multiple places. They kind of move all around to establish their presence as a cult depending on what's going on. So they were in Hawaii. They were forced to leave because of that conviction that he has. They were essentially violating the rules over there in Hawaii. They were arrested and then forced to leave the Hawaii back in 2020. Him and his members have traveled to Puerto Rico. They have traveled to Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, and with the exception of Puerto Rico, all those other places I mentioned, him and his cult has been kicked out for endangering and threatening the national security of those countries. So it seems that they travel wherever they can, try to establish their cult, their presence, and then they are kicked out for potentially endangering the safety and security of the countries, and they move to somewhere else. Back in May, don't believe this is true as of today, but back in May, and it's still important for the court to consider as far as flight risk. The defendant did have members of his cult supposedly in Mexico securing a place for him if he were to get out. And that was right around the time back in May. I don't know that that is true as of today, but it's still important for the court to consider. This was uploaded to social media, and apparently one of his members was live streaming from that location. And so as far as the flight risk, given that him and his members have traveled to all of these locations, given that he does have a failure to appear and a pending warrant out of Ohio, he is a significant risk of flight or failing to appear. That's the first factor. And Judge Bethel also found that. As far as the second factor, he's a significant risk to the person's community and the property of the community because, as I stated, his followers will essentially do anything that he says. This was shown by the videos presented at the previous bond hearing. If he instructs them to do something, they will do it. He tends to brag about himself being someone who has this power and control of others. So if he is granted bond, there is no idea what he will order his followers to do. I say that because he's instructed his followers to reach out to our victim multiple times since he has been in custody. Not only did he instruct them at the beginning of law enforcement's investigation back in April or May, we were informed by our victim that his followers has reached out to her as recently as of this week, essentially trying to put pressure on her to drop the charges and to not move forward with her allegations. And specifically, she has informed us that it's the wives, some of the wives in his cult that has reached out to her. So he does present a significant risk to the person's community and property. He's also a significant risk of committing another felony. As the evidence showed before the previous bond hearing, he's ordered members of his cult to be violent to other members of the community. He has recorded himself saying that he is above the laws, his laws are nature, and he is God. So this is an individual who holds himself in such high esteem that he does not feel that he needs to abide by any laws that are in place in society or instructed by the court. And so that is something that the state finds that puts him a significant risk of committing another felony, as well as his history. While I know that they were mainly misdemeanors, he does have some violent offenses on his record. And again, as I stated, he was ordered to leave other countries for potentially putting their safety at risk. And the final factor, Your Honor, he is a significant risk of intimidating the witnesses, specifically our victim or anyone else who may decide to come forward in this investigation. Our victim has been cooperative with law enforcement and with our office. He's alleged to have been physically violent with her. And as I stated, told her that he could kill her if he wanted to. I've also mentioned that he's instructed his followers to go talk to her and tell them that they need to make noise and do everything that they can do to see if she would drop the charges. While she is present and supportive, she's not giving a statement, but she did provide a written statement last time, which I read before the court. I won't read it in its entirety, but I will pick out some points on behalf of her to go to the intimidating witness factor. She states that she is fully willing to testify in this case, even though she is very nervous. She's asking that the court do not grant him bond. He has ordered people to abuse one another physically for his enjoyment and his pleasure. She goes on to state that he prevented her from leaving his home the night that she wanted to leave. He took her into another room after mentally abusing her for up to 2 hours. And after ordering the woman in his home to abuse her, he proceeded to then rape her when she told him she did not want to have sex with him multiple times. And she also had stated in her previous statement that he has openly told the members of the cult to reach out to her to persuade her from dropping the charges. Exactly. And so she asked, in the interest of justice, the safety of the community, and for the safety of other potential victims who have not and may never come forward, she asked that the court decline bond. And Your Honor, I understand that Mr. Eder is present, just doing his job, and has brought witnesses as to his character. But what the court has to look at
I'm asking everybody that's in this live, there's 200 people in here, please hit the like button. I'm not really focused on the like button because I want you guys to get the information. I know you can go to any channel and get it, but I'm talking about what I'm doing over here on my channel. So please, as y'all come in, respectfully, can you please hit the like button? It's free to like, I promise you. Oh, come on, don't say this thing is acting up now. Every time all right, 1659. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Damn.
Here today are the factors.
I'm concerned that actually this seems to be much of the same information that would have been presented or could have been presented.
And look at the allegations at this point and the evidence presented for it. And at those factors, each and every single one, that Judge Bethel found that he was a risk and denied his bond. If anything has changed for somehow the court to reconsider their position that he is not a significant risk, the state will submit to you, nothing has changed other than the fact that he has been in custody for more days. Nothing has changed. He still presents a risk. And I think that is very evident by the fact that there are members of his cult still reaching out to the victim to persuade her to drop the charges. So we would ask the court to deny bond and find that he meets all of those risk factors under Ayala and that he should not be granted bond. Thank you.
Is the case scheduled for grand jury?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Edie.
All right, Judge, before I call if inclined to, I just wanted to put a few things for clarification that I was not the attorney at the time of the first bond hearing. So I would argue that things have changed, at least in the perception of when I received the case and from what I learned from the first previous bond. Before then, I would just want to address the first issue, which would have nothing to do with the witnesses, which would be the flight risk. I see it stated that there was an FTA. In that FTA, I believe that case was ultimately finished. The Hawaii situation was brought up before Your Honor, and I believe that was in 2020. My understanding is that was during a COVID protocol, and the reason that became such a big issue was because the amount of people who were active with him, in which they perceived to be a cult, in which this is what Mr. Bishop and has been known as for a spiritual teaching. He is perceived to have went to school to be an ordained minister, in which his teachings have been followed by Netflix, BBC, Discovery, Spotify and Apple, all in which people have given him contracts. These are people who have followed his documentary for his spiritual teaching and his teaching evolving around promoting a healthier eating and promoting a healthier lifestyle. And as far as the names of the Natureboy, which will follow into the character of who he is, and then Mr. Bishop himself. I will be giving you more so about Mr. Bishop himself. Now, those things of the allegations of videos I did not see or was not present, but I would think that Netflix and these people who have paid him thousands and thousands of dollars to document and to film him, not just his recordings, but the recordings themselves of their production, would not be pushing out any type of violence or any type of following of someone who will be doing so much to the far right of the perspective of being some bad things there. So I would keep that into consideration about the following and the use of the word cult, that this is a spiritual teaching to promote healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, and a spiritual being about itself. And the reason that he has been in those places was to promote those things. Some people may consider them to be a distraction to the world or the laws that has been there, in which he has been told to leave. And if it was so, he would pack up his stuff and go. And in that process of actually having followers going back to set up places for him to reside or live at, I would disagree with that. What happened is if he goes to Mexico or Costa Rica and those places, when he is asked to leave, there are people who decide to follow him and come with him legally over to the state to continue to follow it. And after this pickup of the charges, these people have now resorted back home, in which he was allowed. He basically, told them, you can go home, and as I fight this case, you can get ahead and go home. And these people now have went back home, but they have remained loyal to the teachings of Mr. Bishop. And that's what we have here, not more so of setting up places to abscond. And to refute that, what I would ask for is simple, a 24-hour curfew, an ankle monitor. There's plenty of things that the county of DeKalb could put into place that will assure him that he will be here. I'm not too sure of his passport status, but he is more than willing to give up his passport. And more than willing to put himself on a 24-hour ankle monitor, but for the release of him to be able to work, in which he has 2 jobs that will be outside of any type of social media, any type of documentaries that he has actual working in the county here, which would be a barbershop that he has opened up. He is a certified barber, and he has a landscaping business that he has running by close family members and friends that he would be able to go to. So that I would assume that to be satisfactory for his risk or flight risk. And he has been resident here in DeKalb County since at least dating back to 2014. So I'll present to you that he's not a flight risk. To get to the risk to community, that's why I would be willing to present the character witnesses. And if it's allowed to, I have up to 3. But if you would 1 for 1, 2, however you would decide to, I would just like to present them. And they have written statements that are no longer than a paragraph, in which they would just like to read to you here before Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one I will call, if available, would be Mr. Ryan Wilson. Mr. Wilson available?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, yes. I received your statement, in which it wasn't notarized, so the judge will allow you to just read your statement. What I would like to do is swear you in first, Judge, if I insist, and if I'm allowed to.
Go ahead.
May you raise your right hand?
Yep.
What?
All right, and do you swear that only you will give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So help you God to this honorable court.
I do.
All right. Mr. Wilson, may you please state your first and last name and spell it out for this honorable court?
My name is Ryan Wilson. That's RyanWilson.
All right, and precisely, I would just ask you a basic question. How long have you known Eligio Bishop?
About 4 years.
All right, and in your 4 years, explain to the court the impact, or the positive or negative, whichever way it may be, impact that he has impacted on your life and to the families around in the 4 years that you have known him.
Yeah, what I can share is that my family consists of me, my wife, a 10-year-old daughter, and then we actually have a baby on the way. And one of Eligio's teachings with me is just the friendship and the bond that we've had together, and him always being there for me whenever I needed to, pick up the phone and ask questions or need help in regards of maybe my life or, my relationship with my wife or different things going on in my life. And one other thing that has been his teaching that really affected me was going and bringing awareness around food and teaching about, chemicals.
Okay, we're going beyond where you indicated we were, Mr. Edie. And this isn't a redo. This is an opportunity to get a redo at bond. It's a reconsideration, any additional information. So I don't want to get into all of that.
I got you. Mr. Wilson, I would just be imprecise. Would you just give the court in your relationship, I'm sorry, the phone is falling, in your relationship to how he has impacted you, and then as far as the community in which you were going, his risk to the community, anything that he has done for the community in which you guys lived in when y'all shared together. Just the community.
What I can share is that he's given a lot of information out to the community because he's trying to reach out to the community and help the community in many different videos. Like we have said, there's many videos online and there's many videos about him trying to help. And what I can say is just to make this real short is, for my family, he's always been there to help. Always been there. Just one phone call away to help in any which way that he can be, because he just wants to give back that reaching hands and help out the community. That's what I'll share.
And one final question. Has he ever been a danger to you and your family?
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, may I?
Yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Wilson, are you a member of his cult?
No, I'm not.
And have you ever lived at the 2993 𝗪𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 Drive in DeKalb County?
No, I have not.
And have you ever seen any of the videos of him directing women to hit other women?
I have seen videos, yes.
Oh, you have seen those videos?
I've seen videos that you're referring to, yes.
Okay. And it is still your testimony here today under oath that after seeing those videos, you feel that he is not a danger to the community?
I do not believe he is a danger to the community. He never has been. He never has been, and that's just my views, yes.
And that's your opinion even after seeing those videos?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Reedy. Have another witness?
Yes, Ms. Adriana Johnson. Ms. Johnson, are you there?
Yes, hi. How are you doing?
I'm doing good in yourself. Would you please raise your right hand for this honorable court? And do you swear that the testimony you will give will be the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, may you please state your full first and last name for this court?
Yes, my name is Adriana Johnson.
All right, and may you spell it?
AUDRIANA. My last name Johnson, JOHNSON.
All right. How long have you appreciate it? You can put your right arm down. How long have you known Mr. Eligio Bishop?
It's been more than 3 years now.
Okay. Precisely in a paraphrasable type of substance, could you just explain to me or explain to the court, if any, good or bad, how he has impacted you and then the community in which y'all shared during your time together?
Yes. Well, I'm here to say that Eligio has been a dear friend of mine for more than 3 years now. And as a true friend, he has always been there for me, even in my darkest moments. He has always been able to provide me with great advice and emotional support anytime, like even when I needed it the most. And unlike a lot of other people, I know Eligio personally and not just from the internet. And if you know him, you know that he is a joy to be around and he is a pleasure to work with. Eligio is always upbeat and spreading positivity. He is a very courageous, charming, and down-to-earth person. Knowing Eligio, he is a very, very compassionate person, always willing to help people whenever he can. And just from me, like I said, knowing him personally, he has always operated in the purest, with the purest heart and intent.
All right.
And his morals.
Work with him in the community. What are some of those things that you have done or you have witnessed when you say have done things in the community? What are some of those things?
Yeah, he has brought people together in beautiful ways. You get what I'm saying? He has traveled around just and with the spiritual teaching and the spiritual knowledge. He has allowed people to gain divine knowledge itself that help us navigate, on a path that can, it can be very overwhelming, just dealing with worldly things and all the troubles in the world. He has always brought people together. Like I've been around him when it's like big groups and just the way he organizes things, just the way he puts things together. He is a great leader. He is a great leader. And I have always known Eligio to operate with the purest heart and intent. Morals and principles are his top priority, and I would hope that the courts can find it in their judgment today to, grant him bail and for him to be released after serving an extended amount of time thus far. I would hope that the courts, could just find it in their judgment, to grant him his bail.
All right, and one final question: are you a member of his spiritual teachings?
Yes, I do subscribe to his teachings. I've never been a member of the actual cult, but I do subscribe to his teachings. His teachings is universal. It's not, it's not nothing that no one can't, understand. If you sit and if you listen with the open mind and open heart, is facts. It's irrefutable facts.
Thank you. No further questions for this witness.
Thank you.
Yes, Mina? Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Johnson, so I know you said you subscribe to the teachings, but you're not a member of Carbon Nation, correct?
Yes.
And you didn't live at the 2993 𝗪𝗔𝗧 Drive in DeKalb County or any residence with Mr. Bishop?
No.
Okay. And you were not present the night that these incidents are alleged to occur back on March 24th of 2022. Is that correct?
No, I was not.
Okay. And so you have no knowledge of what actually took place on that date?
Actually, I do have some knowledge, and that is only because the alleged victim did a live interview.
Okay. Let me stop you there. I don't want to know if you have some knowledge from what's been passed around on the internet. Were you actually present that day?
No, I wasn't. I've never been to that.
That's all I asked. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going off of what the alleged victim has stated herself.
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson. I appreciate it.
Oh,
okay, thank you.
All right, and I have one last witness, Miss 𝗪𝗛𝗧𝗖𝗛.
I know, I seen it. I just ain't gonna
Good morning.
Nobody's face.
Good morning, Miss 𝗖𝗛. How are you?
I just
I'm fine.
heard the audio.
All right, may you please raise your right hand? And do you swear that the testimony you give before this honorable court will be the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, all right, you put your right hand down. How long have you known Mr. May you please state your name and spell your name for this honorable court?
My name is 𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛, 𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗛𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗔. Okay. Nearly 6 years now.
All right, what's your relationship with Mr. Bishop?
Right.
We are friends.
Okay. And precise with the time that you have shared together, could you share with any experiences, good or bad, that you have witnessed and or worked with him in regards to him and contributing to the community in which y'all shared together?
I can our friendship has meant to me, as I am not a resident of Georgia. So,
be precise as far as anything such as any outreach or anything that you have seen him giving back, anything just precisely with him in the community in which y'all shared, whether it was.
I've seen him offer counsel and support to people, not just words. I've seen him offer financial support to people as part of the community, as well as myself and counsel.
Okay. And are you a quote unquote active member of his spiritual teachings or regarded in this court as a cult?
No, I'm not part of the cult.
Okay. And that would be the only questions that I have for this witness.
Thank you, Ms.
I have no questions for Ms. Singleton.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, anything further, Mr. Eady?
And nothing further as far as witnesses. I would just finish up my argument as far as the remaining factors of the case, and then I will be done with my presentation here.
Okay.
All right, so judges, I will go back. I will tell you that Mr. Bishop is a 30-year-old African-American male born in New York. He was born with a troubled childhood. As an infant, he lost both his mother and his father. And through that experience, he was able to make himself what I would consider to be a useful man of the community. He's the father of 4 children, from their ages of 13, 8, 4, and 3, and is currently active and involved in all of their lives. At some point, he became an ordained minister and a certified barber. In January of 2014, Mr. Bishop opened a successful barbershop here in the state of Georgia. The address will be 6013 Highway 42, which is called Bishop HD's Barbershop, in which that barbershop itself has held many community events. He has led chess tournaments, which allow people places to go and give out free haircuts for the children in the community, as well as to learn a game of chess. And most people take chess as something that will be taught throughout the lifelong lessons of kids to be instilled into them. He employed many different people from different backgrounds. One of the things that he promoted was asserting people who picked up a trade who was previously incarcerated, who picked up the trade of barbering while in jail. And upon their release, those are the people in which he actually was given jobs to and allowed them to be certified barbers at his job. Bishop's HD Barbershop Cuts is actually still open. It's still operating, and it is led by one of his closest friends named Lex. Once he left his barbershop, he then went on to his journey of a spiritual teacher, in which he picked up a learning tool in which there. And part of that teaching is, again, as previously explained, has been followed and picked up by documentaries of very big known Discovery Channel, Netflix, Amazon, and things of that nature. He's also an author. He's given out plenty of books. One of his main books is called The B6 Diet, which he wrote on how to eat healthy and more of an organic. There's nothing different in his book that you'll be able to not look up in a cookbook from Kroger or Publix or anything like that. It's just the teaching of eating organic food, and it's not just limited to that. You have plenty of these books in which they are all free. They are on Spotify, they're on Apple Music, or anywhere that you can go buy on Kindle to get these books. He's authored over 17 books. They're available on all platforms. He also has a large catalog on his influential teaching. At that point, I believe, is where we get the disconnect from the social media, in which he has now been placed with his character, in which people know him as the Natureboy or the Sixth God. And these things have become a character in which Mr. Bishop and Mr. Character and the character of Mr. Bishop and the Sixth God or the Three God or whatever has been a disconnect. As a person, you have heard from different witnesses that he is a great use of the community. His platform is for spiritual teaching and for better uplifting in people in their health. These followings are people who are still here active and full of support. That is 3 of 3,000 that I could have presented, and which I just chose not to. These public teachings has attracted positive energy as well as the negative energy. His offering of these teachings ranges from anywhere, not just on the basis of spiritual.
Sorry, I thought you said, but these 3 are not a member of the group, correct?
Yes, I'm sorry, I received a phone call. Yes, those 3 members stated that they're not members of the group, and at the time, I mean, these members are all over the world. So I could try to consider someone in close of nature. Last, I would just tell you that Mr. Bishop has inspired million people to just basically live a healthier lifestyle. As I would proceed to tell you that he has been in future contracts with plenty of people on social media as current as today. There are people that every time someone logs in, you get what they call certified checks, which was on Instagram as official pages of such as Netflix or things like that, who are in tune and follow, have reached out to me in ways that they can actually support and help him in this process. With that being said, I think that he has invested a good relationship.
What did he say? Hold on.
In which he has now been placed with his character, in which people know him as the Natureboy or the Sixth God. And these things have become a character in which Mr. Bishop and Mr. Character and the character of Mr. Bishop and the Sixth God or the Three God or whatever has been a disconnect. As a person, you have heard from different witnesses that he is a great use of the community. His platform is for spiritual teaching and for better uplifting in people in their health. These followings are people who are still here active and full of support. That is 3 of 3,000 that I could have presented, and which I just chose not to. These public teachings has attracted positive energy as well as the negative energy. His offering of these teachings ranges from anywhere, not just on the basis of spiritual.
Sorry, I thought you said, but these 3 are not a member of the group, correct?
Yes, I'm sorry, I received a phone call. Yes, those 3 members stated that they're not members of the group, and at the time, I mean, these members are all over the world. So I could try to consider someone in close of nature. Last, I would just tell you that Mr. Bishop has inspired million people to just basically live a healthier lifestyle. As I would proceed to tell you that he has been in future contracts with plenty of people on social media as current as today. There are people that every time someone logs in, you get what they call certified checks, which was on Instagram as official pages of such as Netflix or things like that, who are in tune and follow, have reached out to me in ways that they can actually support and help him in this process. With that being said, I think that he has invested a good relationship in helping out and employing people. He has not harmed anyone or is not a danger to the community, and is far as the last option, which I think is something that would be super considerable, obviously we know where we're at in the discovery phase of this, but I would like to let you know that I have personally seen that the victim, the alleged victim, is currently active on social media. And when she's currently active on social media, she is actually still partaking with some of the people that are considered to be part of this cult. As early as maybe just 3-4 days ago, she's in a working relationship and still following the teachings of Mr. Bishop. She's I believe to be in a relationship with another follower of his cult, and a supreme follower, meaning someone who is actually possibly taking over and continuing the teachings, and that's who she's with. So she has been in video, has been in live, is what they call it, live video, live teachings with some of these people who were considered to be make him a danger to her. But as of recent, I have seen these with my own two eyes of her actually on social media with these people who are members of this cult, and she is still active with these people. So I would digress and say that he's not a danger to her, or she's not afraid of him in any type of manner, as she's actually lingering around and following the teachings and around the people in which she has a first-hand communication with. So I would allege that the state will have to look into that a little bit more as far as their witness. So with those being said, I would say that Mr. Bishop is entitled to a bond. I don't think that the ruling in the first bond was incorrect. Things have changed. The victim is actively being part of the people that he's around. He is not a danger to the community. There are witnesses who are here to testify that he has helped them in a personal level. I have listed out many of things that he has done prior to being picked up. And again, he stands before you an innocent man. I understand the charges that's alleged with him. I would love to go more in depth with some of the charges, as that would be a discovery issue that would come up that would allege for the other charges, such as the quote unquote revenge porn. I think that in discovery it would show completely differently that there have been times that is part of his teaching. Part of the teaching is part of teaching safe sex, and that this is something that has been previously in their history together. That is not being any type of revenge porn, and that would show out in discovery. So overall, I ask that you do set a reasonable bond. He's not a flight risk. He's not opposed to an ankle monitor. He's not opposed to any type of house arrest. He would be able to monitor his barbershop. That would provide him income to be able to obtain an attorney. I think that he takes this quite serious. He has obtained leave for representation throughout the case, and that is not with the help of the big businesses that have reached out to me personally to help in each way, such as Netflix and Discovery, that these have been coming through him personally to help retain. I think he takes this case very serious. This is not something that he's overlooking, and that a bond is appropriate for this case, that he will be able to get not just back to his teachings, and he'll be okay if he has to be shut down on his teachings, that he has actual work to get into, but to be there for his family. He's active in his 4 kids' life, and has been active throughout that process. We asked for a bond to be set in no more than $100,000. Theoretically, I would ask for a $50,000 bond, but to be reasonable with the court, a $100,000 bond would suffice. And I allow Mr. Bishop to post bond with 24-hour services and an ankle monitor to make sure that he will not be considered a flight risk. That would be it that I have for Mr. Bishop, and I would thank the court for your consideration. May blessings be upon you and your family. Thank you.
Okay, what I'm concerned that actually this seems to be much of the same information that would have been presented or could have been presented before Judge Bethel. He heard all of the evidence on it. I've not heard anything this morning that would cause the court to make a different decision from the decision that was made back in May. So I am going to deny your request for any modification or reconsideration of the decision that was made.
Thank you, Your Honor. And the state will prepare that order. I believe that that concludes my business before this court, and may all parties on this case be excused.
Now, the only thing that lawyer said that held Natureboy down was at the end when he was talking about Neytiri is in contact with members that were affiliated with Natureboy, which is Solar. And that is also who the courts and everyone was worried was going to intimidate the witness, which is Neytiri. And because, you know, the phones are recorded. Now the person that they was hoping did not contact Neytiri is with Neytiri. That's Solar. That's the only thing credible or had a leg to stand on conversation that lawyer presented that made any amount of sense. That lawyer was lying. That lawyer didn't do his due diligence. He had 30 days to get to know. If you want to lie, get to know your client by doing your due diligence, going through them videos and whatever written statements you got, and act like you're an actor and go to Hollywood with it. But get to know who you are representing if you're going to lie for him. Natureboy ain't got no barbershop. He said he sold that barbershop. Natureboy ain't got no landscape company. The man scared of bugs. He says this himself a couple of times. In the past, he's scared of roaches. I don't know what man's scared of a bug. I mean, I'm scared. I'm horrified at bugs. But I'm saying this 6'1" man is scared of bugs, but he got a landscaping company. Stop the press. Did anybody hear the lawyer say that Natureboy is 30 years old, or was I hearing things? Put a Y in the chat. Or maybe if you didn't hear it, then put a no in the chat. That is not a court-appointed lawyer. I want to let y'all know that. That is a paid lawyer who was representing Natureboy for the second time on this case. Now, I already told y'all he probably won't get a bail. It was going to be denied because Natureboy got booked on the 14th of April. It has not been 90 days. So they can have their way with Natureboy. They can have their way with him. They can hold him up until 90 days, and then after that, they have to give him a bond. Now, put it in the chat. When the lawyer said he's asking for a bond no more than $100,000. Now, in the state of Georgia, do they pay 10% of that $100,000, or do they have to pay the whole $100,000? Or could they put Cookie's house up for the bond? Because I'm going there with it. Because allegedly, the girls and True are back at Cookie's house. So I'm wondering if he has to pay the $100,000. Where's he getting that from when they allegedly said he only had a little bit over $60,000? Who is that invested that would give that man the difference to that money to bail this crazy man out? We done seen Natureboy get out and act a fool the same day he got out. Natureboy is probably calling the shots. Those are Natureboy's things he made the lawyer repeat. Right, exactly. But yeah, she said 30. No, he ain't no 30. Ooh, child. Natureboy up there on a lying spree right with his lawyer. He said, man, I miss lying. Now he's in court lying. It says he spoke a bit too much. Yes. Then he even said, Denise, he got about 3,000 people that I could have brought in here. But I chose not to. To me, that right there, I don't want you as my lawyer. That's a paid lawyer, but he's not a seasoned lawyer. He's not a seasoned lawyer. Make sure as y'all come in here, you please hit the like button. Let's try to get the likes up to 200 likes, please. Thank you for the almost 300 people that are in this live. Welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then lying on companies he has. Hope it's not for. Yep, exactly. The barber shop and a landscaping company. But then again, I don't know. Let me be quiet. Then again, you never know. That crazy man, hey, baby, he might have a landscaping company and a barbershop. Who knows? I don't know what that man has, but I know he got a lot of he's got a lot that he's riding on. Okay, it's 10%. Well, he'll be getting out then if his bill being $100,000. Cause I don't know. They did. I told y'all. I said he got about 7 days left. He got arrested on the 14th of April. They can do. They can have their way with him. They can have their way with him, and they don't have to let him out. They don't have to give him a bond until 90 days. Period, point blank. But if they give him a bond, the judge is probably gonna, I don't know, the judge might think he might have 100,000 and say, I'm gonna make it 200. Even if the judge says 50,000, that's why they're at Cookie's house. He'll be able to make, I mean, not 50,000, 500,000. That's gonna be $500,000. He'll probably still be able to make that bond because the bond will only be $50,000, and allegedly he's got over 60 something thousand. So okay, he'll get out with a 10 stack. That ain't a lot of money compared to what he did have. I mean, 60,000 ain't a lot of money, but 50,000 to get your freedom so you can fight on the outside this case, because can't no paid lawyer, can't no carbonation fight for this man's freedom like he could fight for his own freedom on the streets. I would have to get bailed out. I'd have to bail myself out. 50,000 ain't no kind of money if you're trying to fight for your freedom on the street. You don't want to put your freedom in nobody's hands, especially not no True. No, that's the same lawyer he had the last time. He had that lawyer representing him, Lady Shakira, 2 times that I know of. But this is my second time seeing that lawyer. But to me, he's not a seasoned lawyer. He's not a seasoned lawyer at all. That's a bad hit. He will be indicted before the 90 days. The 90 days is in 7 days. So yeah, hopefully he will. If they're gonna do something, they got 9. And even if he's not indicted, I mean, even if they give him a bill, they still can indict him, Tay. They still can indict him. He's just that because it's 90 days, after some time, they have to give him a bond. Even if it's a bond he can't make, they still got to give him a bond after 90 days. But they still can indict him. He can get out. He can get out, bond out that day, and then they can find that he's going to be indicted, and that's it. He'll just be going back and forth to court free. He won't be locked up. That's the only difference. But he'll be one indicted mother hubbard going back and forth to court with his lawyer. And in some cases, you don't always got to go to court with your lawyer when you got a paid lawyer. I know that for a fact. The lawyer can go in. Only time the lawyer will ask you to come in is if they need you. But yeah, they don't always go. You don't always go into court with your lawyer. He can represent you even if you're out on the street free. They can represent you. But I would want to be in a courtroom with this paid lawyer because he's not a seasoned lawyer. I know somebody that was locked up in Georgia in 2019, and it had changed to 12%. It probably is 12%. I don't know. Ooh, child. It's easy to get in trouble, but it's hard to get out. Y'all know the routine. It's easy to get in trouble, but it's hard to get out. My mother used to tell me that all the time. And I used to hear my grandmother say it to her sons. Honey, it's easy to get in trouble, but it's hard to get out. It's up to the judge. The judge can impose 10% or judge can impose cash bond, which is 100%. Now, they can also say bond with no percent. That means they got it right. The same thing as what you said, cash bond, right? Same thing. Look at me. I'm sitting up there saying the same thing you said, RC, but in a different way. Yeah, they can also ask for they could give them a bond with no 10% or whatever the percentage is, no percentage. They can do that too. Probably Cookie, she said in the chat, he got arrested. Yeah, he back at, that's what they're saying, that he back at Cookie's house. I didn't think Cookie would take him back. But see, I think the reason why Cookie let him probably stay there is because the girls ain't going to be acting up, blasting the music and be drinking and doing all that off-the-wall stuff, having parties because Natureboy's not there. He's the one that initiates all that. He's not there, so it's probably quiet. And True ain't no threat. She ain't got to worry about True. True's a weirdo. He's quiet. But so I heard a couple of people say, why didn't they use them as witnesses? They're not no credible witnesses. Them are reprogrammed, brainwashed souls. They're liabilities. You can't ask a funny farm to get up there and raise it right hand and co-sign nothing. I think if the case gets national, a better lawyer will pick it up pro bono. Yep. Denise, you said that right. Yep. I'm quite sure a lot of people already know that DreamWorks a while ago tried to. I think one time they said DreamWorks had bailed them out of jail. I think it was in Nicaragua. I can't, one of them countries overseas. So yeah, he be getting those executives, you know what I'm saying, that be behind these reality shows, be trying to holler at him. I know he wished that he never dissed none of them. I know he wished that he had all of them on his team now. I would have never told them people no. Yeah, he messed himself up with that one. Thank you, Black Moon. Thank you, sweetie. Yeah, that's a bad hit. He did a lot of this to himself, so I don't even feel bad for him. If anything, come on, if you so-called been to jail before, you know yourself. If you so-called been in the system, it's hard. It's easy to get in trouble and hard to get out. It says if Solar plans to bury Natureboy under the shoe, ain't no telling. Solar probably already was dry snitching, because he sure enough out the blue just came out the cut with that baby stuff. That's questionable to me. It says, or at least credible nutter. Oh my God, this is crazy. The day he got arrested, Cookie was in the chat saying she got money for him, whatever he needs. Not so. What? I don't know what kind of hole does Natureboy got on Cookie? True was used as a witness at the last hearing. True used his government name. Wow. True was used as a witness at the last. Ooh, child. So if he was used as a witness, if he told the public what happened to his baby, and he's saying that Natureboy had something to do with it, you know that he told them people in that court. Especially the guy that brought the barbershop, incredible witness. But I'm glad they choose these three dummies as a witness. Right. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Hey, I don't know. I don't know, man. Make sure y'all are hitting that like button. Let's try to get these likes up to like 200. I mean, come on. These likes look like they on a diet. I get to talking too much, and honey, ain't no telling what y'all will leave me for. Like, come on. Y'all be sitting there liking up people's videos. They ain't even put no effort into the video. They just recorded it. They just seen a recorded it, and just slapped it up. And there you're like, great job. You did a great job. Ain't put no commentary to it or nothing. Ain't trying to talk to you. Have a select people in the comments that they might speak to. Act like you may have put about 7 comments in the chat, and they're acting like they don't see not one of your comments. I try to answer all my comments. They're all guilty. Yeah, you're right. They all played a role, but now it's like trying to point the finger at who they're gonna put the blame on. And you know who's the best person to do that to? Natureboy. You know, pass the buck on Natureboy. You know, he the one that orchestrated all this, talking about record this and all this off the wall mess. So hey, this is what happens. If you like it, I love it. It's a sad shame, but it is what it is. It's a sad shame, but it is what it is. Says Greedy Boy have been more informative witness. I know, right? And he's not the brightest bulb on the tree, Keith. All that big old money that, yeah, but he was spending. You see how he's spending it, and then he's always getting kicked out of somewhere and having to go stay in another Airbnb. Man, that money starts going. You know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of money, really, to be honest with you. That money starts going. But hey, it is what it is. I don't feel bad for him. Hey, Shay. We talking about witness number 3. I don't even know who that other chick was that was talking that the lawyer had brought up there. I ain't never seen that girl day in my life. The beat down for likes though. Stop that, yo. It's gotta. If we like it. If you don't like it, don't listen. If you don't like that I'm doing that in my channel, then you can leave. But don't tell me what to do on my channel. I'll do what I want to do on my channel. If I want to ask somebody to leave a like on my video, they can choose to do it or not. But I have the right. I'm 47 years old. I'm grown. I'm probably older than you. Don't tell me what to do. My son is 34 years old. I have a grown child. And I don't even let him talk to me like that. So you got me all the way messed up with that one. So you better fall back in my chat doing that. Because I'm part of the block a whole tribe. I block you. I don't even care. I ain't got time for that. Don't tell me what to do on my channel. Shoot, you don't pay my check once a month. Wrong with you? You done lost your whole mind up in here. Shoot, you think Natureboy crazy? Huh? See, I play all nice, but don't get it twisted. Matter of fact, where's that person that you getting up out of my chat? Don't come in here trying to tell me what to do on my stuff. You got me all the way messed up. Now I'm gonna find you before I finish. Where was it? I just had that little son of a. If y'all seen that person, yeah, he about to get up out of my. Okay, I see it right there. Let me go on the other side because I can't delete it on this side. You get your behind on out of here. You done lost your mind. You acting like you crazy like Natureboy. What's this, a female or a dude? I can't even find this character. You gonna get your behind up out of here. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad they didn't take Malia and all them and bring them up here. Matter of fact, let me see. I'm trying to listen. Let me see if I put the name inside of the chat so I can remove this character. Can I no, I can't do it like that. I did that wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna find you when I get off. You can run, but you can't hide. Matter of fact, you done messed up my whole little flow over here. Okay. Thank you, First Lady. Why didn't you tell me you did it? You know how I be. You know I'll be going in real quick. I'll get bipolar, tripolar, bipolar. I ain't playing with these people in the year 2022. Y'all better leave me alone. You better find somebody else to be trolling. It said you talking about he got a landscaping company and a barber shop. Boy, bye. Boy, bye. These people are crazy. Hi, Linda. But let me get on up out of here. And I hope you blocked First Lady. I hope you blocked that lady. Cooking while listening. Okay, well, you was multitasking because you sure enough got him the heck up out of here. So I'm glad you did that. Let me make sure that yeah, you out of here. You've been removed. You ain't never gonna be on this channel no more to say nothing. You're gonna be able to look through the window and like and dislike. Okay, so I'm getting on out of here. I ain't staying on here no longer. You know how I do. I can't stay on no live for no 7 hours. I can't do it. I can't. Thank you. Love y'all. So y'all stay blessed. I might come on later on tonight, but I can't. I can't be on here all day. So y'all stay blessed and I'm out. Mwah. Right to the windows, to the wall. Thank you.